Nexus. Bitcoin is immune from attack.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Crypto Show's Digital Cash Evolution right here on the Bloomberg Network. And today we're talking with Yuri from Dash Nexus, and we're going to get some ideas from him about why cryptocurrencies need governance.
Now, full disclosure, I personally am involved with Dash Nexus. I advise the project.
You didn't tell me this.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a liar. I'm telling everybody at the same time. I mean, it's been pretty well disclosed actually on the Dash Masternode proposal system that I am a part of it. Even the budget that has been spent to date on the project has been publicly released on the Dash Central website with the most recent proposal. But I am involved. It's not in a major way, but I am involved with the project, and I just want to be, have full disclosure there. We asked Yuri to come on to talk a little bit about governance and how Dash Nexus fits into the governance system. So, Yuri, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
You guys work with the government?
No, as a matter of fact, we don't. And that's a common issue is governance is not government. And, the word of the day is governance. Governance is just decision-making. And Yuri here is to help us to tell us about how Dash Nexus is improving the decision-making flow or proposal system, whatever you want to call it, within the Dash network. So, Yuri, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about what Dash Nexus is doing from a big picture perspective.
Hi, everyone. Yuri here with the Dash Nexus team. Personally, I got involved with the Dash network and the Dash community because I was very interested in being able to take an active role in my investments. So, to those who are unfamiliar, by acquiring 1,000 Dash, you're able to run a masternode and vote on the allocation of the treasury budget, thereby helping direct the overall evolution of the network. So this concept of decision-making by the stakeholders was really, really appealing to me and how I originally got involved. The entire decision-making process from the moment when I joined up until now has happened on a platform called Dash Central, which was created by one of the community members. And while this platform is of great service to the Dash network, it was created when the monthly treasury budget was only $17,000, as opposed to nearly $1 million today. So as the network grows, as the number of proposals each month increases, and as the treasury grows in size, the tools that allow the community to effectively make decisions also need to evolve. And this is where Dash Nexus comes in. So as a masternode owner and as a prior proposal owner, I'm intimately familiar with the decision-making process and the pain points that the community experiences with the current systems. And arising out of those, our team was able to put together a concept for a new platform using modern web frameworks, which will vastly improve the quality of the tools that masternode owners have to evaluate proposals, as well as create an easier on-ramp for proposal owners to enter the community and present their ideas.
Right. So, and when you say new platform, what we're considering in the Dash community, the old platform are websites like dashvotetracker.com, dashcentral.com, and then there's the dash.org forums that are commonly used to post pre-proposals, and they're all disparate sites that are run by different people and have different interfaces and is kind of a disjointed process from start to finish if you're trying to propose something to the network, get it voted on, get it approved, and move forward from there. Right? And so Dash Nexus is intended to basically bring all of those various governance activities into one website. Isn't that right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for example, before posting a live proposal on the Dash network, proposal owner is encouraged to first create a pre-proposal, which gets posted on the dash.org forums. We're taking those two and combining them into one. Pre-proposals will be known as concepts, which will go through the same proposal creator flow, and have the proposal owner will have an opportunity to collect feedback from the community before posting their live proposal and paying the submission fee for that proposal.
Right. Thereby, and I think this is a big part of the governance system, right? If we're talking about decision-making and decision-making within a community and decision-making within a community where you have stakeholders and non-staked holders, some of those have a voting voice and some of those don't have a voting voice. It seems as though, I think we're discovering, correct me if I'm wrong, Yuri, but that the conversation around these decisions is almost as important as the decisions themselves and how that's managed. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. The entire discussion board is an area where we give huge priority. There will be various polling options. We recognize that Dash is a global community, so we're building in multiple languages as the Nexus platform continues to evolve to ensure that the global community could participate and interact with each other. And I really think that this is where the true power of these decentralized global networks kicks in. Being able to connect people all around the world through aligned interests embedded in code.
Right. I absolutely agree with that. And this is, I think, one of the things that excites me most about the Dash Nexus project is it's really about connecting people, but also about making very powerful, financially backed decisions ultimately, and bringing people together in a way where they can have those heated debates and have those strong agreements or disagreements and ultimately work it out in terms of, which projects do we want to fund and help to coordinate and organize this decentralized community. In a very kind of, traditionally centralized way where we're all kind of coming together. And that's really the nexus of the Dash Nexus, right?
Can you guys give some examples of, say, how a listener who owns a business and wants to integrate Dash or whatever, how they can use the proposal system and Dash Nexus by extension?
Yeah, of course. So proposal or retail shop owner, for example, if you own a few stores in your town or if you're even a major chain, you could come to the Dash network with a proposal saying something along the lines of, I would love to accept Dash as a form of payment in my retail stores. In order to do so, I would need to install point of sale terminals, train my staff, and have some kind of marketing campaign around it to educate my customers about this new payment option.
And real quick, let me throw in an example real quick so people can kind of grasp this. If you've ever got on a United flight and you looked at the screen on the back of your seat and there was a Dash commercial there, that came out of one of these proposals. So, picture that being integrated into your business as well. So go ahead.
Yep. So the community would then look at your proposal in relation to the ask, in relation to other proposals that are in the network, and evaluate whether this proposal is beneficial to the network as a whole. And assuming it is, and you're a trustworthy proposal owner, you will be given funds from the network to execute on this proposal. Should you do so successfully, the community welcomes you to come back to further expand your business and operations. And this is actually how Nexus itself is funded. So we came to the community with a proposal saying, hey, we have Dash Central, the current governance platform. It's great, but it could use some improvement. And the community resoundingly voted saying, yes, absolutely, we want to see these tools. And this is how we receive funding. In itself, Nexus is not a revenue-generating operation. We spend money on developers. We're essentially a cost center as such. However, the value that we return to the network is allowing the master owners to make better decisions, allowing more proposal owners to enter the ecosystem, and ultimately increasing the competition among proposals, and thereby ensuring that only the best pass through, increasing the ROI from the network on every proposal that passes going forward.
Which all falls under the big blanket of governance, which I think in the community of cryptocurrencies and tokens is becoming more and more of a very powerful, people are understanding that governance is becoming more and more important, because if you can't make decisions as a community, if you can't make decisions as a protocol, then you really can't, amend or address or pivot as the world or the economy changes or the environment changes, to address new situations or unforeseen situations. And I think this is one of the most, why I think governance is becoming more powerful, because you don't have to pay for, you don't have to run everything as an organization specifically. You can break off little chunks and pieces and have people own separate pieces. In the Dash system, we have, for instance, Dash Nexus, I know, is also working with Dash Watch. And Dash Watch looks at the accounting practices and reporting of past proposals that are, performing basically, and reviews how well they performed, whether or not they hit their milestones, and so on and so forth. And they're learning a lot. And we're taking that education and bringing it into the front end with the Dash Nexus piece so that we can kind of head off a lot of issues. And that's paid for by the Dash Masternode Network to improve the quality of proposals and review the past success or failures and hopefully learn from them. And there's a lot to be gleaned there, I think. Also, this show, the Crypto Show, is funded by the Dash Masternode Network, and also core development, which focuses on the protocol itself and the maintenance and improvement of the network at the code level. And there's dozens or maybe even hundreds now of other projects that have been funded by the Dash Masternode Network. I think we're about to head into a break here. And so, Yuri, when we come back from the break, let's maybe go in a little bit more about the fiat process and how merchants can be involved. And I think I may have cut you off a little bit, but maybe we can dive into that a little bit more when we come back for the break. Yuri, you were talking a little bit offline there about how you have a background in business administration and what attracted you to Dash. You want to dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent a lot of time as an entrepreneur and looking at various business models. And what really attracted me about Dash is that through the alignment of incentives that's embedded in the code, Dash is a remarkable organization. It's only 3 or 4 years old, but it already has a presence in well over a dozen countries around the world with independent teams working towards a mutual goal of growing the network, growing the integration and merchant adoption all around the world simultaneously. And this is something that a traditional business may never be able to do. I know of very few companies that at such a young age are able to have a truly global presence.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I've been talking to a number of people. As a matter of fact, not too long ago, I was having a phone conversation with the former, I think it was the former director of global operations for T-Mobile, marketing operations for T-Mobile. And he was saying that he really loves the product of Dash, and he would like to see a little bit more coordination on the strategy of the global marketing. Could you talk a minute about that from your perspective?
Yeah. So from our perspective, what we can do is provide the tools necessary for the community to communicate and evaluate proposals to ensure that these independent teams are working closely with each other towards the common goal. Some of the drawbacks of decentralized governance is sometimes teams find themselves in silos and may not know what other teams are engaged in. But as we continue to improve these tools, this friction will be eliminated and it will become a much more smooth, much more organic process of growth.
Yeah, and that's the kind of growth that I like to see. I think it's the kind of growth that is most successful. And, as a UX professional, I certainly appreciate and support and advocate for the approach that you guys are taking by bringing the environment in a way that's just usable by as many people as possible, so that it reduces the friction both on the supply side with proposals and the demand side with the Masternode tools and the filters and the views that they'll be able to do. And literally, I think they'll be able to vote on the website. I know. They'll be able to vote on the website. So
I think
they'll be able to
vote on the website. They'll be able to vote from their phone. It's going to be very
that's going to be a great upgrade. I know that I've spoken with a few Masternode owners who are really excited about being able to get away from their desktop to actually execute their votes on the phone. Being remote is probably a common problem with Masternode owners.
Did you guys take anything away from, say, the Smart Cash wallet? I mean, the coin is not worth a lot, and it's got a small market cap and everything, but their wallet is super impressive. The way, the governance and everything is just built right in.
The Smart Cash wallet has the governance built into the wallet itself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In our exploration of the various UX approaches that we could take, we looked far and wide and looked at how Smart Cash, how PivX approach it, what currently works and doesn't work within the Dash community, but also how traditional companies approach it. We studied Kickstarter, we studied Indiegogo, and we even looked at political platforms like Brigade, a platform created by Sean Parker, which allows people to express their political opinions and views on specific issues. So we're taking all of this together and compiling into basically the world's most advanced platform for making decisions together, which is what governance really boils down to.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that in terms of cryptocurrencies, Dash was the first to bring forth governance, right? I think it was Evan Duffield who kind of acknowledged back in 2014 that we needed something like that. The token was launched in 2014, but the masternodes didn't actually come online until 2015. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's what attracted us in the first place. Our whole entire thesis on the personal side of investing is that platforms with sustainable models of governance and funding will outlast and outperform those, say, many of the ICOs that raise a whole bunch of money right in the beginning, have a small team that can't efficiently manage those resources, and don't have a mechanism of replenishing those resources. So we're really betting long term on this. And we're seeing many other projects begin to develop governance models. The IOHK team behind Cardano did a very in-depth evaluation of the Dash governance model, and they have their own coming out at some point. It's on their roadmap. Tezos, while there are some lawsuits and conflicts, is very much based around governance. EOS is trying stuff with delegated proof of stake, which shifts the balance further towards centralization, but it yet is another approach towards selecting delegates and governing. So we're very carefully monitoring what's going on in the entire crypto ecosystem and seeing which governance models work, which don't, and what we may or may not be able to integrate into the Dash network to ensure that as it began, it remains the forefront leader in governance in the entire space.
Right. And one of the analogies that I try to use, that I'm kind of working with right now, is that funding is like power. It's energy, and if you dump a bunch of funding into a project and just give them, let's say, 10, 20, 30 million dollars, and it's just a small team and they don't know how to use it, it's very much like a bomb going off, right? And if you can spread out the energy of that bomb, well, now you have controlled explosions, and now you have an engine, a car.
You've been watching too much Silicon Valley.
Is that
yeah, there's episode exactly.
Really?
Yes.
Oh crap! I swear I've never watched Silicon Valley. People keep telling me that I need to watch it because I have these ideas, and they're like, "You should watch this show." So it happened. Thanks. Great. Now I sound like a hack. Well, but it's true. If you can disperse that energy over a period of time, you have a controlled explosion, and that's the difference between a bomb and a rocket getting into space, right, with a satellite. And if you can do that, then that seems to me a very good natural model to manage energy, manage resources, manage flows of things, and that, in my opinion, is very much what governance is about. And I know that Charles Hoskinson did some research on Dash when Cardano was being developed. I actually asked him this question at the DISCON conference here in Boulder, not too far away, just a couple weeks ago. And he personally says he loves Dash, and he looked at their model and thinks it's a great model, and used it in the implementation of is using it as a representative functioning DAO. That he intends to kind of replicate and improve on with the Cardano token. So props to him and props to Dash for giving him those ideas. And I really would like to see these governance models grow. And Yuri, I'm glad that you're a part of this community and focusing on these needs of the proposal system and the evaluation tools available to the Masternode network. So props to that, and thanks for bringing that together.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
So did you have anything else you wanted to add or say before we break apart? Maybe you'd like to share with everybody how people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, of course. You could reach we have a live website up on app.dashnexus.org or .com. You could go through and check out the latest progress that we have. And there's links for connecting with us there.
All right.
Well, thanks again for coming on, Yuri. I'm sure we'll be talking soon.
Yeah, of course.